We all have times where our mental health is struggling. The loneliness, the despair, the isolation, it can be devastating. So how do you get healthy again, or at all? I think it's become our mission to help others move from the F my life to the find my life. And today, we get to talk about mental health for men. It's a tricky one because traditionally men weren't supposed to have feelings. Chin up, carry on, don't show weakness. Like that ever helped. Today we are incredibly honored and excited to have one of Canada's most loved sports anchors, Dan O'Toole. Dan was with Jay Onrait for the longest time on TSN. Together, their comedic approach coupled with in-depth analysis made everyone want to watch post-game sports news. And I mean everyone, my wife included. That all ended in 2021 when his employer decided to cut him out. Dan spiraled after that. And it's his journey after that spiral that has led him to be an incredible advocate for men's mental health and an example of what it takes to go from F my life to found my life. So please, grab an Eco coffee and listen to this legend, Dan O'Toole. Welcome to the Founders Music Lab, the home of the FML, where we talk to people about how they found their lives and their purpose. I'm the founder guy, Bill, and I'm joined by the music guy, Steve Lehmann.
Hey there.
And the coffee guy, Ed Denier.
Salud.
Salud. We are joined today by someone I have admired for a long time, ever since he and his buddy Jay started delivering the sports show on the Sports Center on TSN back in 2003. He was a formidable character, incredibly funny, both of them, and I just loved the way they delivered their show. We're going to talk to Dan O'Toole. And we're going to talk to him about how he got started, where his life went, and where he is today. And not touch on, but dig deep probably into his big mission. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Dan O'Toole.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good thing there's no video here.
Oh, there's no video?
Yeah, well, there is for us. We get to make sure that it's really you.
Okay, yes, it is me.
This is not an AI.
No.
At least I don't think so. That hair can't be generated.
The only thing missing with this hair, I always tell people, I'm like, I just need a Corvette to lean against.
Oh, dude.
To lean against.
To lean against.
That's right. Just not to buy it, just to lean against.
I'm sure someone would let you.
Because let's admit it, a Corvette is an impractical vehicle.
Well, yeah, and then with that hair, if you sat inside it, you wouldn't really fit.
That's right. Top down, baby.
Top down. Let's get things started. As usual, we start with Ed asking the first question, and we'll take her from there.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Ed.
I live in a world of coffee. I own a little coffee company. That's my day-to-day, my go-to. I'm always running around doing coffee-related things. But I find it interesting. I find it mind-blowing to hear people's what their world's about, what their day-to-day looks like. I know what my world is, but I'm always curious as to what is a day in the life in somebody else's life and how they go about their day. So can you tell me a little bit kind of these days, what a day-to-day day looks like for you? It's a lot of days.
I will lead you through my day up to this point right now, and it's a pretty typical day. It's a Monday. The sun isn't shining. When the sun is shining, though, I go out and get the morning sun directly on my face, and that is an instant mood changer. That's one of the things I've incorporated into my days because those sun rays do something that nothing else on this earth can. So at 7 a.m., I am up. We get the kids ready, and then I start the Uber to schools. I drive my one daughter, Ruby, to school in Bowmanville. I'm currently in Peterborough. And,
Whoa, that's a drive.
She talks to some people at her school, and they're on the bus for like an hour, and our drive's 30 minutes. So it's a great time. Ruby and I crank the tunes. We're a very big music family.
Nice.
So she had controls of the Spotify today. And I don't know if it says something about my childlike curiosity, but I like a lot of the same music my kids like. So it's a lot of like not trap music, but it's like Drake, it's Future, it's heavy rap, I think you would describe it as. So it just gets us fired up. And then so I drop her off, and then I don't see it as a burden driving that 30 minutes back home. I'm like, this is my chance to shape my day.
Nice.
So I usually put on the news for 5 minutes, say, well, that's not going well. And then I throw it on Conan and Friends on satellite radio, and it is a magnificent listen. If the cell service was better, I would get my phone calls in to my friends that are up at that hour, and connect with them. We send each other off on our day, and then I arrive back at home, and then I start tidying up the house because I'm the only one here. I'm not even going to tell you the number of cats. We've got a lot of cats because we blended two households. We put the Brady Bunch under one roof, and it came with a lot of cats. So a vacuum is constantly going as it is right now above me. The Roomba, one of my favorite purchases of all time.
Yeah, it is
I used
epic.
to live in an old house, and I couldn't get a Roomba because the floors were all uneven. So now, again, I find any moment in which I can center myself and find my form of meditation, I'll stare at the Roomba app and watch those perfect lines. And I'm like,
sweet. Do you ever go upstairs and put the cat on one of those Roombas? And just
no,
watch it go
I
around?
brought that up with my kids. I'm like, how do we get our cats to ride these things? So
Nothing a little duct tape won't hurt.
A part of all this, coffee is in there, getting a snack. And then I come down to this very room I'm in, which is, what are we looking at? This is a 4 feet by like 12-foot room. And I am in here for the rest of the day, starting at 10 a.m. And I will finish in here probably at 2:30. And then it's back to picking the kids up from school, figuring out what we're going to have for dinner. It's a dinner by committee. And then maybe it's a Dairy Queen night. I don't know. It's raining, so I don't think anyone's going to be in the mood for that.
Lines are
no Blue Jays
lines are
baseball.
shorter, though.
No Blue Jays baseball to watch tonight,
No.
so we'll probably fire up the Nintendo Switch and play some Mario, and then it's off to bed for everyone. And here's the problem I run into, my guys. I'll call you my guys. And it baffles my significant other because she's lights out 9:30, 10. When the kids are in bed, the little one's asleep, that 10 to midnight, that is the only time of the day where no one is needing me. No one needs a drink. No one needs food. No one needs me to help them. So I take advantage. I call it my party time. I'm a sober guy now. Before, I used that for the wrong reasons, but for that 10 to 12 now, I'm like diving down YouTube wormholes. I'm starting a movie. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this show. So that is my me time, that 12 p.m. till midnight. That's where I get my time. So that's a typical day in my life. And I make sure I never get into the rut like, oh, here we go again, another day, which I used to be that person. But now I find the small joys, like that sunlight hitting my face, like Ruby and I turning to each other when a certain part of a song hit today and just smiling, no words exchanged, just having those moments which forever I didn't appreciate or didn't even notice. So
Wait
I
till
try to
they're like
capture as many of
33
those
years
moments I
old.
can.
And you're sending fart jokes to each other at work. That's
Yeah.
how good these relationships become.
That's right.
How old are your kids?
I've got 8. Well, she's about to turn 18 on October 16th. So 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And then with our blended family, I also incorporate a 16-year-old boy. He and I are the only boys, and a 15-year-old girl. So that's
Numbers.
a lot of kids.
That's chaos. You said the witching hour, the chaos hour.
That's right.
5:30. We couldn't do that one.
Yeah,
and it makes sense
5
with
o'clock.
that. And how many cats? 100? Did you say?
Nope, not even giving you a number. It's more than 2, less than 10.
Okay. All right. We won't form an opinion yet.
But
Okay.
in all fairness, it's a pretty big house, and if you wandered into this house like right now, you might not even see it. Like, it's not like they're on top of like counters, and
Yeah.
like you would maybe notice 2 of them.
Yeah.
So it's not a crazy cat house unless you spent some time here and then saw them all.
Right.
They keep to themselves and
But
find
no
their own little
dogs.
spots. I told them get rid of some of them. We'll get a dog.
It's a weight. There's a weight factor.
That's right. Yeah, cats live a long time.
Yeah, I had my daughter insisted that we get a cat when she was 5 years old, and I have to admit I'm not a cat person. I never was. I was always a dog person, but I crumbled, as most fathers do with a 5-year-old, and that cat lived for 21 years, 22 years. I was like, oh man. But it was a great cat, and it actually, no one actually knew we had a cat. So, like you say, when you could walk into the house, it's like, you have a cat? Well, the
I will
only
say
ones
this.
who did. Yeah.
Guys who have cats before they're in a relationship, which I did, I think we are more sure of ourselves, because with a dog, you're like, okay, it loves me. It's showing me it loves me. A cat, it doesn't give
No.
a shit if you're
Yeah.
alive or not most of the time. And I'm like, I kind of like that. They're like, yeah, I'll get to you when I've got time.
So you're ready for a relationship. I get it. What are you trying to say? No, you're not trying to say that.
You don't need to be showered with love.
Yeah.
That's what cat owners realize. I don't need all these licks and all that. And also, selfishly, you don't have to walk a cat. So in the middle of winter,
brilliant.
I see those people out there, and I'm like, yeah, don't have to walk these guys.
Yeah, I've got a lab and a Ridgeback, and they both need like 2 hours of walks. So yeah, I get you. You're the smart one. I get it.
But I love I had a dog all my life. Here's part of my origin story. My first dog,
Yeah, you're starting.
Fonzie.
This was my question.
My first dog, Fonzie, he was having problems, and he like wasn't doing well, and my parents were like, okay, looks like we got to put him down. We got to drive him to the vet. So we all hopped in the pickup truck. I was in the back with Fonzie, and Fonzie went like, and then died in my arms. So my first dog died in my arms in the back of the truck, and I had to tap on, oh crap, I just knocked a picture down. I had to tap on the window of the truck and say like, okay, we can stop now.
We can turn around.
We don't need to go to the vets.
That's
So,
a
yeah,
hard
that-
start on a dog.
That's something.
Yeah, Fonzie, poor Fonzie.
Yeah.
So let's go back. I want to know about Dan O'Toole in his early years. And when I say early, I'm talking like 5 years. What kind of kid were you?
I grew up on a farm. I was constantly outside. I tell my kids all the time that we lived the childhood in which I had 2 brothers and a sister. We would go out into the woods at 9 a.m. and come back when the bell rang. There was literally a bell that was rang for lunch. And then we'd go back out until the bell rang for dinner. No one ever checked on us.
No.
We had to do chores, so a good work ethic was instilled in me. Ride bikes to my neighbors. No one would check to make sure we got there. It was like 2 kilometers down a country road. No one ever figured, should we see if he arrived okay? I'm sure he's fine.
We'll
So a
find
lot of
out
road
eventually.
hockey, a lot of baseball. Yeah, it was a great childhood in the sense that I got to find fun in the boredom that kids see now. Kids are terrified of boredom now. And I try to tell them, I'm like, guys, that's when we came up with the most fun. We'd create a new game or we'd get outside and play a sport. And they don't get that.
I was talking to one of my employees the other day and telling them when we were kids, we used to have rock fights. And they were like, rock fights? I'm like, it seemed like a good idea at the time. We're all alive still, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
Touch
we
it and
probably
move
did
quick.
that because we had a creek running through the woods. So we'd throw mud and pick up the weeds and throw those at each other.
Absolutely.
So there was a lot of mud thrown, I'm sure.
It's sort of the precursor to dodgeball. It was like dodge rock or dodge mud.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, the other one that was vivid in my memory is we used to, in the winter, we'd stay in the woods and hurl snowballs out at the cars. And every now and then you'd hit a cop and they'd get pissed off and they'd come try chasing you and we would just laugh at them like, come
That's part
on,
of the game.
You're going to follow us in the woods?
Yeah.
I dare
Well,
you.
speaking of the woods, my buddy and I, we would find every little, sometimes it was like probably a 20 by 10 sheet of ice in the middle of woods. We would find that. We would find the smoothest little piece of ice
Oh, yeah.
and go out there and play hockey right after school every single day during the winter.
Right. Oh, I remember those days, even when it was 40 below.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
That was
an
the best.
Ontario guy?
I am.
Peterborough.
I'm actually, I moved back to my hometown of Peterborough, Ontario. And if you had told me at any point of my life as a now 50-year-old man, okay, you're going to be living back in your hometown, I'd say, wow, things didn't go well. but now I see it completely different and I absolutely love it. I can be at the grocery store and I'll see a buddy I haven't seen in 30 years. Was just texting with a friend that I hadn't seen in probably 40 years. I run into friends' parents that I haven't seen in forever. It's actually amazing and I love it. I love going out wondering, who am I going to see today? It's not like, oh, I'm back here. I actually say, I'm back here and it's great.
And you
so
spent a lot of
I'm
time.
fully embracing it.
You spent a lot of time in some big cities.
I did, and there's no sense of community.
No, exactly. We talk
in
about that all the
LA
time.
or Toronto, it's just, you're just lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, yeah. So you got into, you went to Algonquin, right?
I did because I applied at Fanshawe and Loyalist, 2 other colleges, and they said, no thanks. I thought
we
you
heard about
apply.
you.
I thought you just give a college money and they let you in. And I only got into Algonquin after someone dropped out with a week before school. So they said, hey, we got a spot if you want it. So I had to drop everything and go into college at the
Was
last
this a
second.
broadcasting
It was a
program, or-
radio broadcasting program, which is now defunct. They canceled it.
Right. I thought you were going to see more of those, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's
I
a
just heard
dying
Conestoga
industry.
Colleges. Yeah, yeah. I've got a lot of friends in the radio and television industry who are either have been misplaced or outsourced or eliminated, and they're going on to teach at these colleges, and I'm going, what are you teaching? Like, who's learning this?
Well, it's now called history.
History.
I
But did
I
you always want?
graduated with it was only like 2 or 3 months into the second year of the program, and I got a job out in Vancouver. So I said to my college, I'm like, what do we do here? And they said, write us a 2-page essay on what you learned. We'll pass you. And I think I like triple spaced that thing. I'm like, well, they already said they're going to pass me, so I can't flunk this.
Oh, man.
So your first job was in an airplane?
It was called Skywards Traffic. What they did was offer free airborne traffic reports to radio stations. In return, we got to read our own radio ads.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'd say, yeah, that was the traffic brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Go and get an oil change for $20, whatever. And the thing that Jay Onright always found hilarious about that job was I didn't use my real name. I was Captain D.
Captain D.
I was Captain D flying above Vancouver, a city in which I'd only visited twice in my life, but they started a new branch out there.
What street is that?
Yeah, exactly. I was saying, so they have a highway called the Lougheed Highway. I was saying, it's a pretty slow on the Lockheed Highway. So I was pronouncing all these streets wrong. But I did 501 flights in a Cessna and lived to tell about it. My pilot would tell me all the time, he's like, you should just be like trying to get your license because you could be banking these as hours. I'm like, that seems like too much work. I'll just sit here. He'd have to wake me up because I'm lulled asleep by the sound of an airplane engine. So in this little 2-seater Cessna, he'd have to give me an elbow and say, you're coming up. You're about to be on. Because I'd just be just conked out because we did the morning rush and the afternoon rush.
Oh, man. And how long did you do that one for?
I did that for probably a year and a half. And then while there, I applied for the play-by-play voice of the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. And I got it. And I went to the convenience store and I bought a map. And I opened it up.
To find where it was?
The map had all the provinces on it, and then it had Alberta, and then they had an arrow at the top of Alberta that said to Fort McMurray. So I was moving to a place that wasn't even on the map.
Nice. And that's how you got on the map.
That's right. That's how I got on the map. So
that wasn't
Fort
even
McMurray,
on the map.
So that was from 99 to 2001, and that city was booming. They were, it was a license to print money up there. And every Newfoundlander, I have so many friends from Newfoundland that they'd say, okay, I'm going up here to make some money for a couple of years. They're there for like 40 years after that. They're like, because the money's so good.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't take an oil job.
I did not get an oil job, but my girlfriend at the time, her brother was a pipe fitter living at home at the age of 18. And again, this is 1999. He was making $150,000 living at home. And to me, that was like, oh my, how do you ever make that much money? That is and back then, so I'd say that's probably like $250,000, if not $300,000 now.
Yeah,
like it was insane money. That's the amount of money. And then I'm sitting working at the radio station making $2,000 a month.
My son's in Edmonton right now, and he's now they're not making the same money now that they did back then, but you can still see the remnants of all that cash with people who weren't used to using cash. Interesting lifestyles for sure.
The greatest pickup line I ever heard was this girl told me this story. She's like, yeah, I was at Cowboys. Cowboys is the big bar in Alberta. She was at Cowboys and she was talking to this guy and he points at the window. See that truck? She's like, yeah, paid for it. Cash. So I said to her, did it work? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay.
I won't try that one.
Yeah, I will
See
never
that you
have
go
the means.
over there?
I'll never have the means to try that one. Yeah. See that 97 Honda Civic? Well, actually, that car would only be 2 years old if it was 98.
No, let's go 88.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. So were you into sports? Like, did you play hockey other than the outdoor hockey and the...
I was transfixed with sports. You
from
guys
an early
will
time?
remember. Yeah, you guys will remember when you got the newspaper every Tuesday or Wednesday, there'd be that 2-page section where it was just stats.
Right. Oh,
And
wow.
that was heaven for me. I would go through all those stats of all the goalies, and one of my neighbors who I played roto hockey with, we would bring that out and we would both emulate the goalies going down the list. So it'd be like, okay, you're Stefan Beauregard, and then we take shots on him. Whenever you got to the Winnipeg Jets, every year they used like 6 goalies. So you went through Rick Tabaracci, Pokey Reddick. You'd go through all of them. And then I fell in love with baseball My kids always ask me, they're like, what sport do you like watching the most? And I said baseball, because of the 1985 Blue Jays when they won their first pennant. And that's when I became transfixed with baseball. So that's why I'm so happy that a new fan base will be established by the Blue Jays because of what the team's doing this year.
Oh, it's
just
incredible.
Hope they capture the pennant and not just get a playoff spot.
Yeah, again. Yeah. That'd kill it because there's so much momentum.
Yes, I know. Just
we're so used to this momentum.
Get a 4-game losing streak at the worst possible time.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a test. They won. They just won. So
they hold everything. Everything is in their power to win it. They hold all the cards.
Yes, I totally agree. So when you applied for that job to be the sports director, I guess.
No, I never got that title. I always wanted it. Never got the sports director title.
On a place that wasn't even on the map.
That's right. CJOK and Kicks 98 in Fort McMurray.
Oh, nice call. Okay, so you went from there to. Did you go to TSN right after that, or
no? I went. I went to the local cable station. Curtis J. Phillips was the man who ran the Shaw cable station. And I'm like, hey, can I do a show? He's like, yeah, here's a camera. Go shoot a show. I'm like, okay. So I went and shot a show on the hockey team. He edited it, put it together. Then I did a show with our MLA, a gentleman who at one point was the youngest mayor in the history of Canada. His name's Guy Boudelier. He was just honored by the Alberta Parliament. He sadly passed away this past year. So he and I did a show called On the Record. And then while doing that, I reached out to CTV in Edmonton because they needed a local reporter. Every night on the CTV News in Edmonton, they'd run a 5-minute Fort McMurray segment. And I got to get my stories on there. It was $100 for a story. If I appeared in the story and did what they call a stand-up, I'd get $150. So I'd call Guy. I'm like, hey, I really need a stand-up. He goes, okay, come over to the office. We'll make something up. Like, perfect. So I learned how to do that. And while there, I sent my collection of stuff I'd done on TV to a man by the name of George Froelich, who was in Vancouver at CKVU. And he said, get a year's experience and we'll hire you. He called me a year to the day, said, did you get that experience? I said, yep. He said, okay, you're hired. Wow. So I went to Vancouver from Fort McMurray, and I was part of the launch of City TV Vancouver.
Wow.
So got to see Moses Neimer. He was always rolling around.
Yeah.
We had a photo shoot in Moses Neimer's penthouse suite at a building in Vancouver, and I'm like, well, I got to use the washroom. They're like, yeah, it's just in there. So it was Moses' actual washroom. And I'd never seen it before, never seen it since. He had a bottle of cologne with his picture on it in a samurai outfit.
Dude, you know you've made it when.
Yes. I'm like, this guy's interesting.
Did you ever get one, Dan?
No, I've
never.
No
cologne with a samurai picture?
And today's day and age, back then, it probably would be a bit more difficult, but I bet you could get that on Temu for $1 now. You could get your picture on anything. You can get stickers from Temu with any picture you want on them for $1.
Oh, is that one of your sponsors?
No, you've never visited Temu?
I have. Actually, Ed here got me onto Temu.
Yeah.
I think he has a GP
I'll
bot on
advise
Temu.
this, guys. Don't buy anything that is predominantly made of rubber because you'll have to leave it outside for a year because of the toxic smell. We bought a bag of 100 or 200 bouncy balls. It was the most toxic smelling thing. You can sit next to someone putting on new asphalt on the highway and sniff that for 2 hours and it wouldn't come close to the smell of those rubber balls.
Well, you get those at Dollarama too.
Yeah, I'm sure they get all their stuff from Temu.
Reselling. Their big supplier. So was it after that you went to TSN?
Yep. So I was only there 9 months, and I always give credit to Farhan Lalji because he is the Vancouver reporter for TSN. He's been there forever, a class act.
Did he just
back
retire?
To his community. Did he?
Oh, no, maybe not. No, I'm spreading
I
rumors.
saw him this weekend, so no.
Okay, yeah, he still coaches football and stuff. So our bosses, our powers that be in Toronto, called out to him and said, "We need an anchor. Is anyone out there?" And Farhan said, "Yeah, there's this new guy on City TV. I think you should give him a call." So one day I see the phone blinking, the light blinking on my phone at the little sports section at City TV, and I pick it up. There's a message for me, and it said, "Hi, Dan, this is Mark Milliere from TSN. If this is on speakerphone, please take it off. I'd like to talk to you about possibly having a future at TSN. Will you call me back?" So I'm looking around like, well, who's pulling a prank on me? I've been here for 9 months. Called him back. It was legit him. And then I got into the most bizarre contract talks because picture this. I was a young buck living in Vancouver. I lived just off Granville Island. I was dating Miss Molson Indy. I'm like hanging out with my buddies every night after work. And he says, "So, yeah, we'd like to give you this and come here." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." So he called again. He's like, "Okay, what if we give you this much?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good."
Oh, my God.
And then he got James Duthie to call me. He had made the move from Vancouver to Toronto. He's like, "Hey, I get it. I know Vancouver's awesome, but, you know, these opportunities don't come around very much." And I said, "Yeah, I'm good." And then they got Blake Price to call me, who had also made the move from Vancouver to Toronto. And finally, I'm like, I talked to one of my bosses at the station. He's like, "Yeah, you should probably take this because it might not come around again." So I begrudgingly made the move back to my home province of Ontario in 2002.
Oh, man. So did you start right on the desk or did you?
I did, yep. I was a weekend guy. I do Saturday and Sundays, and then they'd have me reporting a couple times during the week. So you go to Leafs practice and Argos practice and stuff like that. My first weekend broadcast partner was Sunil Joshi. And then I was with Lisa Hillary. And then I was with Holly Horton.
Oh, yes.
And then during this time, Blake Price, who convinced me to come to Vancouver, he decided, or to come to Toronto, decided to move back to Vancouver. And he was paired with Darren DeTitian on the 10 o'clock show. So they moved Jennifer Hedger up with Dutchie, and then that opened up a spot on the then 2 a.m. show with Jay Onright. And they said, "Okay, once this hockey lockout's over, Dan, that's your spot." And so that's how it all started. Was the only reason I ever got paired with Jay is because Blake Price moved back to Vancouver.
And dated the Molson Indy gal and...
No, he
he
already
didn't
had
do
a
that?
family. He
Okay,
had family,
I just
kids,
checking.
everything.
Yeah.
He moved back because they didn't have a support system in Toronto, so they're like, "Hey, all our family's back there. We're going back." And yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He's still doing work for the network. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Solid human.
Good. And Jay, so that was the beginning of your existence with Jay.
That is, and
So you guys hit it off. I mean, you guys were hilarious.
well, no, like any relationship. Well, no, we hit it off. Like we always got along. But there was like bumps. I didn't really know my role. I didn't know how to play the role of the straight guy, and eventually I found my way because of. I don't even know if I've told this to Jay, but at one point we went to a commercial break. He said a line, and then I added something else. And he said to me, "If it's not funny, just don't say anything." No. And most people would say like, "Oh, how dare he?" And I'm like, "I'm so glad he said that." And I tell young broadcasters now, I'm like, 99% of the time, you don't have to say anything.
Right.
So we learned how to let the joke land, not to overstep on the other person's thing that they're doing, and give it room to breathe. And once we established that, we were off to the races. And one thing we immediately bonded over, this was right around the time, if you guys are familiar with Tim and Eric.
Yes.
When Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job came out, we would sit and watch clips of that. And we were the only ones in the newsroom who got it, who cared for it. And we are in tears laughing at that stuff. So right there, we're like, okay, we're on the same wavelength.
Nice. So is Jay, I mean, he almost seems like a natural comedian.
He is, and that's where I established my role. I'm like, I am not a comedian. I know we got so good at us throwing up softballs to one another where we could finish each other's sentences, which we do to this day. So I knew where my place was, and I would give him a line, and I'm like, okay, he'll go on a tangent if I say this. We never, ever talked about what we were going to say, and our main goal, without us even discussing this, was to make the other person laugh as hard as they possibly could every night. And in our final iteration of the show, the last 2 years was the most I had ever laughed on our show. I'm like, we had finally found the perfect combination of everything.
For sure.
It was pure magic. Even if it didn't entertain anyone else, it entertained Jay and I to the utmost extent, where we were at least twice a week, we would have to stop talking because we were in tears.
Right. But that came through. That definitely came through.
Yeah. And people, and my favorite comment from people will be like, you guys try too hard. I'm like,
no, I don't.
We don't try at all. Like, this is our maximum effort, and it's zero effort. Like, I wanted to sit those people down. Come watch a show. We are not trying. We're just trying to keep it together.
That's a secret, isn't it? Once you, if you're trying too hard, you're not nailing it.
Yes, we weren't like trying improv, to be broadcasters. Right? We weren't trying to put on broadcast voices. We were literally being ourselves.
You're being authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, priceless.
Oh, we lost Steve. He's gone.
Steve's
crying. He's like, enough of this bullshit.
Yeah, he's crying. That's right.
He's so into sports.
Yes. Steve doesn't even know what a bat is.
Hey.
Oh, Steve's back. Sorry.
I just had to have a little cough there.
Steve's the musician guy.
Steve, you got a piano behind you. Can we get a musical interlude? Oh, can I have a request, though?
Well, you can try.
You know My Life by Billy Joel.
I don't know my Billy Joel, sadly.
Never mind.
I'm out of here.
No. I'm kidding. What were you going to play there?
Nothing. I got nuts.
What do you got? You got something. People don't believe you're a music guy here, so play it. Show them. Come on.
Come on, play us something.
Dan's asking. Dan took time out of his busy schedule.
Here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
Silence.
Okay. I thought that was just a furniture.
I thought it was a picture.
So right now, the vision I'm getting is the lobby of the Shangri-La in Toronto, because they have a piano player.
Yeah.
People milling about, having their cocktails, and it's just like, this is the life. That's what that brought me to.
And it's a smoky room. And
that was great, Steve.
Oh, Steve's amazing. Steve's got 4 billion listens to his music on YouTube. He's built schools. He's written for. We at some point we're going to have an episode dedicated to Steve.
Learn the beginning of My Life. It is a banger. The reason I say that, I love Billy Joel, and whenever I see a piano, I think of Billy Joel. And I think, too, when my wife at the time, her and I, and Onright and his wife, we went to the Hollywood Bowl to see Billy Joel.
Oh,
and
wow.
I got the LA Times every day, and I read the set list that he played the night before, and he didn't play My Life. And I'm like, crap. Oh, well.
Nobody's playing My Life for you.
We went the next night. And traffic getting there is horrible. We didn't judge it correctly, so we got there just as the concert was starting. We're being shown to our seats, and what do I hear? The opening chords of My Life, and I was just like, "Is this real life?" And it was just awesome. That was a line that my daughter delivered to me when I brought my oldest daughter to the Nutcracker in Toronto for the first time, which is a spectacle. Mm-hmm. And there's one scene where all the ballerinas come out for one of the dances, and she turned to me and she said, "Is this real life?"
Or is this just fantasy?
So now So I'm one of these guys. I guess it's a condition. It's something, but I cry at music. I get goosebumps at music. And so now whenever we go to the Nutcracker, my daughters sit. They don't even watch the Nutcracker.
They watch your
They
face.
watch me to see how many times and when I'm going to cry.
Oh, nice.
They're sadistic.
They are. Do they put it on TV? Just to
Oh,
watch?
they put on Oh Holy Night on Spotify during Christmas. I am a wreck
Oh, really?
every time.
Oh, Steve produced that song for my choir. Oh, Holy Night.
wow.
I've got a rendition.
It's a banger.
It is a banger.
So the reason I cry is because every Christmas Eve we would go to church, and my grandfather was in the choir, and so they'd have a soloist. And when the rest of the choir came in at the parts they come in a Holy Night, my grandfather's voice was so loud it would boom over all of them.
Oh.
So I'm a mess when I hear it. And then we had to play it at his funeral because he died around
Jesus.
Christmas.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, gee, every time.
Oh, now we know how to get you.
Yes. Oh, on your knees. Oh, it just hits.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Are you going to go? Singer Dan?
No, I don't sing.
Anyway, he's crying.
See, he's crying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just
Oh,
telling
maybe
that
time to
story
wipe,
about my
wipe your
grandpa.
eyes. Yeah. Okay, so let's get in. So you were with TSN for a while, and then you were headhunted?
From 2002 until 2013.
And then you were headhunted? How'd that work out? Did they contact you in LA or?
So a
was that
gentleman
Fox?
at the Wall Street Journal wrote an article that said, why can't our sports center be like the Canadian Sports Center? And he wrote an entire piece in the Wall Street Journal about Jay and I. That landed on the desk of a gentleman by the name of Jacob Ullman, who's an executive at Fox. While Jay and I were in London for the Olympics, we got a call from Jacob. And he said, would you guys be interested? We're going to launch this new network. We want you guys here. We're like, sure, we'll listen. And so we talked to them for a bit. And then after about a month of that, they're like, no, we're going in a different direction. We're like, okay, well, at least they considered us. And then out of the blue, they're like, no, it's back on. We want you guys here. And that was another case where we're like, do we really want to do this? And we went to one of our bosses at the network, and he said, guys, if I had a son in this position and he worked here and had the exact same roles, I would tell him you'd be an idiot not to take this.
Right.
So
Now,
we did it, and we made the move to LA and helped launch Fox Sports 1, a channel no one could find. Here was one of our tactics. A year in, I'm like, okay, I don't know if anyone's watching this. We were given business cards, and on the back of the business cards where the channel could be found on all the cable providers. So we were told to pass those cards out, or if we were at a bar, tell them to put it on because they might just leave it on.
This sounds like our podcast.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
is this really how we're getting people to watch?
You're saying that's not the right way to do it?
Yeah, and then and not to mention the fact that we were on a show called Fox Sports Live in which Jay and I did the highlights during it. It had Carissa Thompson, who's still there. She's on Fox NFL Sunday. Andy Roddick, Gary Payton, Ephraim Salam, Gabe Kapler, who's was a manager in the big leagues. He's now an executive, I believe, with the Miami Marlins. Yeah, it was just a lot of people that had something to say, and then I timed it out one night during a 3-hour show. Jay and I were on for 2 minutes. I'm like, what? But I'm like most things in life, I'm like, we're getting paid and we're doing what they're telling us to do.
Yeah.
So what else are we going to do?
Did you have your eldest, was your eldest born then, or?
Oh yeah, both my older kids, they moved down with us to
Okay, so everybody
Redondo
went.
Beach. Nothing like living in a place called Redondo Beach, in which we walk out of our house, and if you look to the right, there was the ocean.
Yeah.
And so we'd be at the beach all the time. It was pretty fantastic living in California. And we still have very close friends that live there. And we almost lived in the perfect 4-year window.
Oh, really?
Where it was beautiful weather, no political turmoil, no fires, no nothing. So if there was a perfect 4-year window, that was it, 2013 to 2017.
So you were with Fox for the 4 years?
We were, with 6 months to go in our contract. Everyone else from the show had been let go except Carissa. The show had been disbanded. Jay and I were in a closet because they're like, well, we're still paying these guys.
And now you're still in a closet.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So they said, just do a 30-minute show, which was pretty entertaining because we had a lot of big names come through there.
Yeah.
And then with 6 months to go in that one, they're like, guys, if you just don't say anything bad about us, we'll pay you for the remaining 6 months on your contract and you're free to go. We're like, okay.
And then
that's when TSN came back to us and gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. We were told our name would be on the show, which it was. So we're like, so you just have to leave the country and come back and they put your name on the show?
Nice.
So, yeah. So that's how they got us back. They pulled out all the bells and whistles and said, come on back. And we said, we were in no position to negotiate because we had no other offers on the table. We're like, I guess we'll take it.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
If you must.
If you must.
Yes, if we must.
This is going to be a hardship, but we'll do it for you guys.
Yes. But it was great coming back. And this one still irks me because I went and got my OHIP, my free health care. And I sent out a tweet that said like, hey, I didn't have to tell them about any medical conditions, didn't ask me if I'm on medications. And I said, it doesn't cost me a thing. And then people laid into me. It's not free. I'd love to pick where my money goes to. Mm-hmm. And if I had like them in an open room, I'm like, I just dealt with private health care. And for a family of 4, for basic coverage was $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
So, but you
can
better manage your health care. I'm like, no. And the taxes were the exact same as they are where I live now. There was no difference in the taxation. So I'm like, believe what you want. You're under the spell that private health care is better, but that is the game that the private healthcare industry was taught to tell people, no, this is better.
Right.
And then some people believe that. I'm like, no, take it. You can have a baby delivered. You can go in for triple bypass and you don't sign a paper.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to pay for is parking. Don't get me started on that. How a big corporation has not taken over the parking at some hospitals in each town and said, hey, parking's on us.
Yeah, right.
Is beyond me.
How a big corporation has done anything like that is...
Like, come on, what are we doing? You're trying to go visit your dying grandma and it's like $30 a day? Like, come on.
Yeah. Or if you park on the side streets, they ticket you if you're over 2 hours. Or tow you.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. I hear you, man. That's the beauty of our digital era now. All these people are going to come at you just for saying something, and you've got a contrarian who's going to blow it out of the water. Mm-hmm. So tell us about how it ended with Bell and TSN and.
Well, there were the Sharks were swimming, and just before I got released, some very close friends of mine were let go by the company. Some of them had been there 20 years. Mm-hmm. So these rumors were swirling about, and we're like, well, they can't touch our show. Our names are on the show.
Yeah.
So one day I got this email, said, hey, we need you on this business call. And I'm like, I've never been asked to go on a conference call in the history of this company. So I reached out to my buddy who had been let go 2 weeks prior, and he goes, read me the email. And I read it to him. He goes, yeah, Dan, I got bad news for you. I'm like, ooh. So I jumped on that call, told I was let go, and then everyone from the show's touching base. And And the people that stayed there, they're like, well, I didn't get that email. I'm like, wow, they're really breaking us apart. And then I was told in later months that the new head of Bell Media, some guy that had taken over who's no longer there, he only lasted like a year.
Is that the one that got rid of Lisa?
He might have been the same guy.
Yeah. She's a
absolutely despised me. I'd never met the guy, couldn't pick him out of a police lineup. But I was told by people that knew him said that he did not like you, and his goal was to get rid of you. And I'm like, that seems like a nice guy.
A little harsh.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go to dinner.
So that was that's where I tumbled into the worst weekend, which now in hindsight maybe be the weekend that saved me, because I was let go on a Wednesday. Super Bowl Sunday was on the Sunday. So my kids were picked up on Friday by their mom, and I'm like, okay, this is game on. This is like the drinking weekend of all drinking. And people kept showing up to my house. And again, I see this now through a clear lens. I'm like, these guys are all here to party. And now I know they were there to make sure I stayed alive. Jay showed up on the Saturday. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's here. And no, they were there to make sure I didn't die.
Wow.
So I woke up from the Sunday, the Super Bowl. I don't remember. That was the year The Weeknd performed. So I had to go back and rewatch that performance because I didn't remember any of it. And then I woke up at my buddy's house with a gash on my head. And I'm like, okay, so here it is on a Monday. I still drank and smoked weed and kept a job, and it was pretty much out of control. And now I have no job to keep things kind of tied down. So I'm like, this train is going to fly off the tracks really quick. So I picked up the phone. I forget who I made that first call to, but I said, I need help. And then that's when my friends and family jumped into action, and they found a rehab facility. They knew I was in the state where this guy could change his mind at any second. I was there, I believe it was the next day. So February 9th, that's my sobriety date. I was in rehab, and my cousin drove down from Ottawa to Orono, Ontario, kind of took me as hostage, and he said, you ain't leaving my sight.
Really?
And
Had he been through it himself? Or
no, he just knew what was on the line here, so he can't pick me up. And everyone else, I still credit to them. They found a place. It's very hard to get into some of these places, but they found one, got me in there. I didn't lift a finger because they knew if he has to do the legwork on this, he ain't doing it.
Right.
So yeah, that started my sobriety journey, which is completely in line with my.
That's a great thing to hear for other people, though. I mean, I've been in that situation where I've had to help someone. I didn't have to; I wanted to, and they definitely would not have gone that direction. And I got to be involved with the whole process, and it was eye-opening to see all the other people in the same situation, and the network of people that help them. If you don't have those people, it makes it extremely difficult.
It does. And the biggest thing is you have to essentially admit defeat.
Right.
You have to admit, I'm not that great at life. I need to go get help. But now we are hopefully bringing it to the forefront where you're like, that's okay. Life is hard. There is no manual. There is no blueprint.
No.
And we do stumble, and we do get consumed by addictions, because alcohol, I call it the great magician. It's like, hey, everything's fun. Aren't we having fun? This is great. You're like, yeah, this is so fun. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't like alcohol. And they're like, oh, but remember that fun we had. Remember all that fun. And now that I'm so far removed from it, 4.5 years, I'm like, you little lion sack of crap. You have brought nothing good. And yet you're always, oh, but all the fun. I asked a friend, I was on speakerphone, so I'm making all these calls to people. I'm like, oh, they're going to wonder where I am. So I was telling them I am going into rehab. The most startling thing was not a single one of them said, oh, really? Why? Everyone's like, good.
About freaking time.
I was the only one that didn't know. So I talked to a friend of a friend who had been in rehab 6 months prior, and I asked him 2 questions. I said, am I ever going to have fun again? And am I going to lose all my friends? He said,
Right.
well, Dan, if you lose friends, they weren't your friends to begin
Right.
with. In fact, I have gained more friends in sobriety than I've ever had in my entire life.
More real friends.
Yes, didn't lose a single one of those friends. I just keep them in the friends that still party and all that, the guys I know from high school, I just keep them in a different compartment.
Yeah.
I'm not here to change anyone. If you want to find out what I've got, come on over. And that other question, am I ever going to have fun again? I want to rephrase to what did I ever have fun of? What did I ever find fun about it?
Right.
Because I look back and like, drinking at home alone? You thought that was a blast? Like, what are you doing? So yeah, if you are struggling with addiction and you're like, but the party, nah, guess what?
Yeah.
You find new priorities in life and you realize the party is really you and your buddies getting really drunk and then talking about who got the drunkest. That's the party.
Right. Right. And then the stories that come out afterwards.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
All it is, oh, you should have saw me
Yeah.
fell into the pond.
Yeah. See how I got this gash in my head.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a.
I got the gash in my head because I lost the when I went into rehab, I had that gash. I always put it on my Instagram. I'm like, yeah, this is how I looked. And then later, my friends told me, yeah, you lost a fight with gravity, and I fell into a fridge. I'm like, a grown-ass man falling into a fridge. Nah, that's classy. Whoa, what a party.
Well, they say it's always you have to hit bottom, and everybody's
Yes.
bottom is different.
Yes.
And I've seen some guys just never find their bottom, and it's just devastating.
Yep, that's I always go back to first off, if you do struggle from this and you do find sobriety, we are always told be the lighthouse for others. You don't know who's watching. And since I've become sober, I have had best friends, family members, closest people in my life join me on this.
Right.
And it's amazing because they see you from afar and they're like, oh crap, I want some of that. So my buddy who's now sober at the time, he's like 2 years sober. He said to me, Dan, I'm so proud of you. You had the balls to do something that the rest of us can't. That is admit you got a problem with booze.
Right.
So for him to say that
There's the
was the
strength.
start of him having better self-realization. And now talk about a guy who's the poster child for sobriety. He is just crushing life. Like, yeah, it's amazing once you remove that stuff from your life, what it does for your mental health. Because I was a deranged human. Even in the first year of sobriety, I was a crazy person.
Yeah. Crazy as
My
in-
brain still wasn't firing right, and everyone else was still the problem. It wasn't me. And then finally I realized, oh crap, I see it. I'm the problem here.
Right. Right. The clarity starts coming through.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like, as long as you keep showing up and remain sober, the clarity will get there. The anger will slowly seep out of you.
Well, it's like grief.
Yeah.
You're letting go of your old human, who you were, how you were, what
That's
you were
right.
used to.
Exactly.
You didn't know how to exist in life, and now all of a sudden you have to be a new being. And
Yeah,
who
you're
is this
saying
new
goodbye
being?
to your old self.
Yeah.
Part of what we've done with this podcast is try to bring people like yourself who've been to that, who've been to the edge, who've had to look in the mirror and then acknowledge, where do you go from there? We've all had our moments. They're not necessarily substance abuse, but just moments where life has taken an aggressive swing at your head and, left some lumps. But as you said, it takes time to reach clarity, to get to the other side, to acknowledge and understand how you got there and why you got there. and it's also giving people insight from all different walks of life. I mean, a lot of people see you're this famous guy, but in the end, you're a human like the rest of us, and we all get a chance to redeem.
I don't think Steve's human. But yeah, like the rest of us, yeah.
But I mean, we get to redeem ourselves and help others to navigate through it, and it's not easy, but it's well worth living.
Here's the thing that I discovered in sobriety is I had a toolbox for life, but it was completely empty. I was a child. I was a man child. And then in sobriety, and thanks in large part to the 12-step program I'm part of, I became an adult because when before I would run into a mountain of a problem. It would derail everything. World's against me. Why am I even doing this? If I run into that same problem now, I'm like, it's a pebble in the road. It does not affect me because I was a child and I had this anger inside of me. And now if I can leave you guys with something someone can take from this for things that work for me, I'm speaking from experience. And the biggest thing I say now is pause. When you feel like you're on the hamster wheel and it's spinning a million miles an hour, I got to do this, I got to do that. Oh, jeez, I got to pick these kids up. Knock the picture down again. I got to pick the kids up. I'm behind on bills. Just pause.
Right.
And it is so. And this relates to conversations with interactions with other people. 9 times out of 10, you don't need to say anything. When your spouse says something to you, when you're always there, like, okay, I'm ready with this one, you don't need to say anything. And 9 times out of 10, they'll come back to you and say, you know what, I handled that wrong, and thank you for just listening and not judging. It is my greatest strength now, is the ability to pause. And the other thing I give to people is, and I point to the Orono Fair, which is the first weekend after Labor Day every year. It's awesome. My kids were on the rides this year, and it was a beautiful September day, and there was a hawk flying around. So I'm this crazy person staring up at a hawk in the middle of a crowded fair, because whenever I see a hawk, I'm like, that's how you do life. They're going with the flow. They aren't trying to be the conductor. Canada geese, they're a bunch of dummies. They're always flapping they're flapping so hard. Well, a hawk is flying around. You're like, first off, just looking at the hawk brings me back grounded, centered, present in the moment. And if you can live your life like that, say, I can't force the wind where it's going. I'm just going to carry this airflow and see where it takes me. Not to mean don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
Just realize life's going to happen. It's how you ride the wind.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
But those two things, being centered is my biggest joy of sobriety, of having a handle on my mental health. Sure, I have moments, but now I have the tools. I go down a checklist. Okay, have you talked to anyone on the phone today? Okay, I haven't done that. Have you been outside today? Have you taken a moment to reflect on something that brings you joy? And I'll go freaking stare at the sun, stare at a tree, anything to bring yourself back to centered and to tell yourself, everything's going to be okay. And I repeat that to myself all the time because I say it to family members, and sometimes they have to hold me by the shoulders and they're like, what do you tell us? I'm like, right.
But that's another thing. You bring up the family. I can imagine this is create or to help to nurture stronger bonds amongst and within and throughout the family.
Huge. So I used to have, this is in my first couple years of sobriety, I clung to a part of the old me where for instance, just before I came down here, I lifted up a pot off the stove. The stove wasn't on. It was like I wasn't going to scald myself. And it was full of vinegar because I had put vinegar on the stove because some food we cooked stunk, so I always boil vinegar to get rid of the smell. And it spilled everywhere because I didn't expect anything to be in it. The old me, even in sobriety, would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
So I would have these little 2-minute bouts of anger. I'd keep it to myself, but it was there for everyone to see. And then one day my oldest daughter said to me, she's like, can we talk about what happened this morning? I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, well, your freak out? I said, yeah, that was to me. I didn't direct it at anyone. And then I talked to a friend. They're like, you ever think maybe she sees that as, oh, great, the old dad's back?
Right.
And that was the first time where I'm like, oh yeah, I've lost the privileges of keeping those things.
Right.
So that also brought me back where I'm like, I can't keep any of those old habits and just go to the toolbox. And I saw a funny Instagram where moments like that, a guy says, when something screws up, say that pot of vinegar spills all over, and scene.
Right. Yes.
And I'm
scene.
like, that just makes yourself laugh. And it didn't faze me. I didn't drop an F-bomb. I'm like, oh, well, it's vinegar. What the hell? The house smells even better now.
And vinegar's cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Big deal. Yeah, you go through enough things, you start, if you handle it, if you go through it with the clarity that you talk about, you start to realize that life isn't over and there's really nothing to get upset about. And
well,
we have
there
it so
is,
good.
but I've talked to so many guys since my posts I've made, and they're like, I get it, because I say these same things to them, and they're like, I get it, but you're just so consumed with your thoughts and like credit cards and getting the bills paid. And I'm like, it's a huge burden on men, especially with everything being more expensive than it is. And men, I just want to build a community where they can all get together and talk to someone who's been in their shoes and be able to talk to my buddy who I referred to a year ago. Darkest moments of his life, reached out 5-6 times a day. He was like, I don't even know, like he looks back and he says, I just was not thinking correctly. And then fast forward to last week when he called me and said, Dan, I love my life again.
Nice.
And it took a year flies by. It took him only 1 year to where he's like, holy crap, I can't believe I was that dark. And now he probably looks back at it and he sees it as, I don't even know why all that stuff was bothering me that much.
Right.
But your head just makes you think, okay, this is over. Like, I can't get out of this problem.
Well, there's all these expectations as a man. I hate to differentiate between men and women. They're all there's challenges, there's expectations where we're expected to be this and that, to get to this level, to get to the next level and to the next one and the next one. And the pressure is always there. And then you have your children, you have all of these pressures that come along with that and all these responsibilities, and one thing cascades into the other. And it's hard to manage it all.
Yes.
But we've never, and I'm 61, so I grew up in an era where there was you didn't talk about your problems. You didn't talk about how your feelings are. You didn't get to cry at a movie or the Nutcracker. Couldn't be cry. You couldn't be caught doing that.
That's right.
But then I just find over the last couple of years.
On that point, I was never, up until I was probably 25 or 26, I'd never heard the words mental health, and no one ever asked how I was.
No. Yeah.
Like all growing up, no parent ever said, how's your day going? Like, how you doing? How you feeling? I didn't know that was something parents are supposed to do. And not knocking my parents. My mom's the best human on earth. But yeah, they just were never taught that either.
Right. Right. Well, I think we're now coming to a new era, and where guys like you come on. I don't know if you ever listened to Jack Shepard.
Oh, yes.
Talk about his sobriety, and it's just fantastic.
So I don't know what you're allowed to do with the 12-step program, but the program that I'm referring to, he speaks openly about and says it, and I'm like, should we kind of all not be doing that? Why are we keeping this to ourselves?
Yes, because I've learned it. I've been through it, not for me, not that I'd be ashamed of it, but I say all these sponsors, I'm thinking, dude, I know you're being open with the person you're sponsoring, but man, if other people could hear your stories, and there's some very there are very rich people who are going through this program, like CEOs. You've got celebrities, you've got athletes, all going through these programs.
And Dax just says it right out there. He's like, I'm not keeping it secret.
Yeah,
And I applaud him for that.
Yeah, and I love it. I love the fact that you're doing it, that you're open about it, and that the more we talk about these things, the more we get men talking.
Well, that's what I kind of want to steal from the program I do and create that for mental health and men. So you talk to the other guy in your shoes, where you're not talking to a therapist. Guys from who I'm talking to on my phone here that have reached out, they tried the therapist. They're like, they can't relate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the ball is rolling. I'm talking to a crew
like
here at 1:45.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was just going to say, it's like talking to a priest about marriage.
I know,
anyways.
the marriage course. I had to take that. I'm like,
Me
what
too.
are we doing here?
No,
Like, if I don't take this, I'm not allowed to get married?
You just go to the class and they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude, thanks so much for joining us.
Guys, this was
great.
awesome.
I love you.
Love you, gentlemen. I thank you for having me here. And like I said, this isn't like this community I'm speaking about. It's going to happen. It's not going to have to go get funding from a government. We're doing it with $0 because a grassroots.
That's what we're doing here.
Startup.
Yep.
You don't need money. You just need people.
We need a community. Build a community.
And we're going to do it.
Amen, brother. Okay.
Okay,
well,
gents,
we'll let
I
you
gotta
go.
run.
Take care.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You know that feeling when a track just hits? That's Eco Coffee's signature blend espresso. It's been the undisputed leader of our espresso bar since the jump, and we're not changing the set list. Why mess with perfection? This isn't some fleeting B-side, it's a chart-topping shot that's bright, balanced, and sweet with a crema so smooth it's practically a baseline. No remixes needed.